Hey everybody. So I felt like sharing my testimony about how I came to Jesus on here, and um, I will try and spare some details because there's some really rough parts to it. But honestly, I can say that my life is forever changed, and all I want is for everyone to know Jesus. And I know I can't change people's minds or do anything, but all I can do is share my story and share the truth about what I've experienced. And so, I kind of grew up Christian. I went to church up until 5th grade until something happened in the church, and so my parents decided to stop going. And then we were kind of in and out of church, and I would call myself a Christian, but I didn't even really know what that meant or looked like. And then when I got to high school, my main goal and focus was like, I want a boyfriend. I've never had a boyfriend. And you see in the movies like, oh, looking for the one perfect guy, and he's gonna save you. He's gonna change everything, and everything is gonna be amazing after you meet that one guy. And I was always pretty quiet in school, and if you know me now, I am not like that. I like to talk a lot. I love hanging out with people, but at the time I was very quiet and reserved, and so I never really had any guys interested in me. But then there was this one guy that had messaged me through Instagram and Facebook, and he seemed actually interested in me. And I mean, I thought he was kind of cute, but not like immediately, I guess. And we just started talking, and then as I got to know him more and he was like flirting with me, I was like, oh my gosh, like someone actually likes me. And I was like, well, maybe I should like see how this goes. So we talk for a month, and then we go out on our first date, and then he asks me there to officially be his girlfriend. And I was like, oh yeah. And at the time I was 14. I was really young. And then a few months go by, and while I'm at school, I see one of my guy friends, and I start talking to him, and my boyfriend sees that I'm talking to this other guy, and he just gets really angry at me. And so I go up to him, and I'm like, why are you mad? Like, I was just talking with one of my friends. And he's like, I don't want you talking to other guys. And I was like, it wasn't in a weird way. Like, he was showing me like this card trick he learned because he liked to do tricks with cards and stuff. But he got super jealous and angry. And so I was like, okay, if it makes you uncomfortable, like, I won't talk to him. And over the months, he just got worse and worse. And with that same specific guy, he got mad that he tried to say hi to me in the hallway. And he actually, after class one day, pulled me up to him and yelled at him in the face, like, and used some colorful language too, and basically was like, don't ever talk to my girlfriend again. And I was really confused because I was like, is this how relationships are supposed to be? But since this is my first relationship, I had no idea. And so I was like, okay. So I honestly just obeyed his every request, and looking back on it, I worshipped him and acted as if he was everything. And even though he was terrible to me, so it got to the point where he didn't want me to have any male friends, any female friends, because they would talk about other guys. He didn't want me to watch movies or listen to music because there was guy singers or guys in movies. And he basically didn't want me to do anything. He didn't want me to talk to my family. I got in so many fights with my family. I locked myself in my room. I was depressed. I just like was not happy at all. I was so isolated. And it got to the point too where like he just really didn't trust me, and for no reason of what I did. He had struggled with some things in his past of people that had hurt him, but I never did anything intentional to hurt him or to make him not trust me. But he acted like he didn't trust me. And so it got to the point where, as a young high schooler, I didn't know any better, but he was telling me to record videos all throughout my day of where I was and show him all my surroundings to see who was around me, document all the conversations I had, let him know if anyone was talking to me and blah, blah, blah. And I mean, it was a lot of work, and I did it because I was like, oh, well, I love him, so I'm going to do this. So then I'm recording all these videos and everything, sending to him, and he'd still call me a liar, even though I would have video proof and everything. And I just felt so drained. And then there was one night when I was 15, and he wanted to do more with me, and I didn't know any better, and I thought that like that was like how you showed love. And while that is how you show love in the right context, it was not the right context for me, and I was really young. I didn't know what I was doing, and I ended up losing my virginity, and I felt guilty about it, but at the same time, I didn't really know any better. I just know it like kind of made me uncomfortable. And then there's other things I won't get into detail about that I felt really pressured to do, and I just like was miserable, and I felt like an object, not a person. And I felt like just someone he wanted to control and wanted to use. And so that just like kept going on. And then ever since I had done that with him, he started accusing me of cheating on him, saying that I had done a bunch of other stuff with other guys, and I never did. And I was like, I don't know how else I can prove it to you. Like, I'm like, first off, even before I met you, I was like so quiet, but just all this different stuff. And it didn't matter to him. He'd call me a slut and a whore, a cheater, a liar, a disappointment. He was very verbally and emotionally abusive, and towards the end of our relationship, he started to get physically abusive by pushing me around, and he had gotten me like a ring for Valentine's Day, and then like a promise ring. And so he always, when he got mad, try and like pry the rings off my fingers and be like, you don't deserve these, blah blah blah, all this stuff. And eventually it got to the point after 2 years where I was just fed up, and so I broke up with him. And at that point, it was like a relief off my shoulders, or a weight off my shoulders. I guess that is the same thing, relief. It was a weight off of my shoulders, but I was still broken. And I didn't know where to go from there, because I had lost all my friends for him. I had really damaged my relationship with my family because of him. And luckily, like, my family forgave me, and I did have some friends, or I had made some new friends that welcomed me in, which I was thankful for. But I was still so lost. And then I started to I've always pretty much had anxiety, but I started to get super duper anxious all the time. I remember at the beginning, after we had broken up, if my phone would even buzz, I would like start to shake a little bit, because I was so used to the mean messages that he'd send me, and I was like, I was having a little bit of PTSD. And so it was really hard. And then I just remember hearing these voices in my head telling me that I was not enough. And loudest voice that I heard consistently for months was, "You're gonna die, you're gonna die, you're gonna die right now." And I was like, what is going on? And it just made me so anxious to the point that I didn't want to commit suicide, but the only time I was at peace was when I was asleep. So I just didn't want to wake up. I was like, this is not the life I want to live. I don't want to live my whole life thinking this is a day I'm going to die and just be miserable. I would have panic attacks like crazy. My heart would beat so fast. I'd be shaking and sweating so bad. I'd be bawling, and I just like didn't know what to do to help. And I would talk to people about it, but still it's just like that voice is constantly there. And I was just suffering immensely. And then there was one day specifically that I was driving home. I guess it was nighttime. I was driving home from my job at the time, and I was having a major panic attack. My heart was beating so fast. I was shaking. I was like gripping the steering wheel, shaking. My palms were sweaty, and armpits. I was just like so sweaty, and I like was just like, I literally am gonna die this very second. And I started bawling, and out of nowhere, I just felt like this power come over me, and I just started praying. And I like had not prayed in a long time. Even when I consider myself Christian, I like maybe prayed a handful of times. It's not like when I consider myself Christian before, I actually knew what that meant, and I actually was like, oh, I'm gonna pray to God all the time, I'm gonna read my Bible. I didn't do that or anything. And so it was such a shock. It was not like me to just like pray. And so I was just bawling, and then I was praying, and like I felt like I wasn't even thinking about the words coming out of my mouth. They were just coming out of my mouth, and I was like confessing to God, like, I've been holding on to all this stuff. I've done all these wrong things, and like I just want you to forgive me, and I want you to heal me, and I don't want to feel anxious anymore. And immediately after, I felt a peace in my chest that I have never felt in my entire life. And so I knew that moment that God was real, and there's not anyone can say that, or there's not anything anyone can say that would make me deny that, because I will never forget what I felt and how my life has completely changed from that day on. I used to be so rude to people, and partially part of it was because of how my ex didn't want me to interact with people. So if someone would talk to me, I would just either cuss at them or be like, leave me alone. Like, and if you know me now and didn't know me then, I'm sure it's hard to see that I could ever be like that. But I really was. I was hateful. I was isolated. I thought I had to use my body for love. Even after that relationship, I thought that the only way someone could love me was using my body and all this stuff. But from that moment forward, like, I've not been perfect, but my life has been completely changed. And I'll still have moments where I'm anxious, and sometimes I'll have voices like, oh my gosh, maybe you're gonna die. Not to the same intensity, though. More so those cases are like if I like hurt something, or if I get sick, I'm like, oh my gosh, what if it's COVID, I'm gonna die, and stuff. But nothing like how it was before. And since then, like, I remember that night I was like, whoa, I was like, God is real, because I had not felt peace in months. And then it was like immediately I was like at peace, and I was not anxious anymore. And so I was like, okay, I don't know what to do from here. So then I just decided to download the Bible app on my phone. And obviously I wasn't perfect. I didn't really know what I was doing, or I was like, the Bible's confusing. I don't even know where to start. I don't even know how to understand this. and everything. But luckily, just like throughout the years since I gave my life to Jesus, I've like grown and learned. And the great thing of it is that Jesus doesn't ask us to be perfect, because he died on a cross for us, knowing that we weren't perfect. He just asks us to follow him and to seek to do what he wants us to do in our lives. And I just know from that moment forward, and the great thing is too, when I pray that prayer, it's not like I cleaned my life up. It's not like I did anything to be like, okay, God, here I am. Can you accept me for this? No, I came there broken and bruised and dirty and like so caught up in myself, so caught up in a lot of bad things that I don't necessarily want to share, but I was caught up in a lot of bad and dark things. And slowly but surely, like, God has just been changing them. And I remember things that I used to like and things that I used to enjoy after that night that I gave my life to God. When I would do that again, it's like I would feel it in my heart, like, this isn't for you, Desiree. Like, this is wrong. And it's like my eyes were opened to seeing the truth and like seeing how doing these things that aren't filling me, or chasing after these things that don't matter, chasing after guys to save me, chasing after money, chasing after success, like none of that is going to fill me. And it's like God has showed me more and more how precious the life he's given me, and that it's not to be used to just like be selfish and to be like, well, I'm just going to make a lot of money. I'm going to be successful. I'm going to make a name for myself. I'm going to do this and that. Because in the end, you're going to feel empty. Because the only way to truly feel fulfilled is to have Jesus. I wouldn't trade anything for Jesus. If I literally had to get rid of everything that I knew, things that I love so much, like my friends, my family, my house, my job, if I had to get rid of it all just because if I had to choose between Jesus and all of those things, I would get rid of it all, no matter how much I love them, because I just know how much better Jesus is. And I'm sorry this is a long video, so if you made it to the end, I appreciate it. I appreciate you hearing my story, and I hope that whether you believe in Jesus or not, it's had an effect on you. And I just want everyone to know, whether you do know Jesus or not, that he loves you no matter where you are at. Even if you feel like you're just doing so many things wrong and there's no way God could ever accept you, that's a lie. He accepts us all as we are, and he doesn't want us to clean up our life to come to him. He wants us to come to him as we are and be like, I'm messed up and I need you to help change me. And I promise you he does. And regardless of where you're at in life too, I know I'm not perfect, but I just want you to know that I try to love everyone as Jesus loved, to the best of my ability. Even if I don't agree with the things that you're doing, or things you may be caught up with, or your views on the world and life, I still really love you and try to love you, because I know that you are made precious and you're a child of God, and who created the whole universe, and he knows your very heart. And there's no reason why I should judge you for the things you're doing when I've done terrible things too, and when I know how precious you are, because you were created in the very image of God. But anyways, I just felt that place in my heart, and I'm sorry I got a little emotional. But anyways, if anyone has any questions, you can feel free to message me. And yeah, thank you for listening to my story.